Welcome to Dirt Bike's Pre-Mix video series. I'm Ron Lawson, and today we have a bike that means a lot to me personally. This is my personal 1995 Honda CR250R. I got this bike because racing the Big Six Revo class on a regular basis. I've run different bikes in that class over the last couple of years. I have a KTM 300 1991 model. I also have an earlier KDX 200. But the bike to have for that class is a 1995 Honda. That's because the cutoff date for a Revo bike, that's the Revolution class, is 1995. And in 95, pretty much the best bike you could get was a Honda 250. So this bike, I set out on a little quest to find it. This year, this model, this specific bike. My buddy Bob Kasper is completely into these bikes. He knows pretty much everything there is to know about old Hondas. And he actually found the bike for me. The price was $700. It was in rough shape, as you might expect. A lot of the details of the things that were wrong with it, you don't know right away when you buy a bike like this. It turned out there was a hole the size of a dime in the crankcase, and it ran, but it had a massive air leak. So the cases had to come apart, that had to be repaired, and then it was a matter of putting together the bike part by part with new stuff. The great thing about 1995 Hondas is the aftermarket fully supports this bike. You can get pretty much anything you want out there. OEM parts are a little bit scarce, at least from Honda dealers, but if you check out eBay, you can find pretty much anything you want. Turned out another weird thing about this particular bike is it had a steel liner already pressed into it. I didn't know that at first. And then when I sent the barrel away to have it re-chromed, people at US Chrome called me back and said, "Did you know that this thing has steel in it?" And I didn't, and I was a little embarrassed. But as it turns out, they can put Nicocil right over the steel. They do it all the time with older CR500s, which never had a Nicocil liner. As far as the clutch, I kind of went overboard. I put a full Hinson clutch into it. The engine also got a Boyesen rad valve, Boyesen covers, and a Pro Circuit pipe. Pro Circuit fully supports bikes going back this far, as it turns out. The chassis, well, we sent that away to San Diego powder coat to have it all freshened up and made beautiful again. The seat, SDG. The suspension was done by Precision Concepts. Again, they have a lot of experience with this bike going back a long time. Fast USA made these cool gold wheels that are completely of the period as far as appearance goes, but much stronger than wheels were in that period. And for tires, I use STI Tech tubes. Then it came a matter of just labor. A lot of the parts had to be overhauled and examined. The brake calipers, the master cylinder. I need to admit that I screwed up a lot of times. I must have split the cases about 5 or 6 times. One of the times I put in the counter shaft bearing upside down. That was a bit of a disaster because it cracked the case and I had to have it welded up again. Wrench Rabbit sells kits with all the bearings and pretty much every part that you need to put the motor together, including a Vertex piston. In the end, the bike is still, it's a work in progress. I have other ambitions for the bike. I share a steering damper with some of my current race bikes, a Scott steering damper. It comes off one race bike, goes on to this one. I might try and get a more modern fork for it. The fork was a weak spot in 1995, and you look back at those old tests and that's clear. That's the great thing about this bike. It's not finished now. It wasn't finished in 1995, and it won't be finished 5 years from now, but there's a good chance I'll still be riding it. DirtBikeMagazine.com has a number of features on this bike because it's been so long in the making. If you go to DirtBikeMagazine.com and search up Revo, you'll see the bike as it progressed over several different stages.